Isn't it weird how the world just keeps going after someone so close to you dies? It feels wrong that the world just acts like they never mattered, almost as if they were already forgotten. It's also comfort. There's no tragedy too great, no pain too deep, that the rising sun can't promise the pain will fade in time. Mourn your loved one, the sun will be here tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Unless it's a nuclear holocaust, but I think that's a given. My first wife died 20 years ago, age 28, and I have lived with this thought ever since. My world ended, but everything else just kept on keeping on. Fucking harsh reality. This hit me hard. I'm literally sitting here in palliative care watching my mum die. It's been a beautiful day outside, and the world continues to spin, and it's just not right. Yes, it's weird and I hate it. My dad died last year, about to be a year in May, and I think about him every day and cry at least 3x a week over his loss. Nobody cares anymore. My family members, his in-laws, that knew him for decades, don't mention him anymore, and that hurts me so bad. I hate that I seem to be the only one keeping his memory alive, and that once I'm gone, he'll be gone completely. I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah, it is. My dad passed away this week, and it's incredibly painful. His funeral is next week. After what, life just goes on without him. Yes, my brother just passed away 3 weeks ago. I can't function properly. I felt this way after my aunt died years ago and last October when my grandpa died. I hope you're doing okay, Op. There is a world that ends. It's the world within the person who dies, and there are parts of our worlds inside that also end with them. My purpose isn't to accumulate anything. For me, it's about how I can make myself the most useful with the time and attention I have to give. It is so weird. I spent the first 2 weeks after my mom's death driving to my parents' house every morning to be with my dad and sister, and all these people were just going to work doing their thing. It was hard. Yes, it is amazing. My dad died when I was 19, but we kept the usual rituals going, as if he was still there. One of them was watching the nightly news. In the haze of grief, I remember repeatedly wondering how the death of such a wonderful man from heart attack at age 43 did not make the news. I realized that we all live in our own worlds, and although they intersect a lot, that we can never truly understand what is going on in someone else's. I felt that way when my 11-year-old daughter was murdered. Like my daughter was murdered, and I'm just supposed to go to work, pay bills, and act like it never happened, never escaping the nightmare, pretending to be normal, or die by suicide. Life truly is like a box of chocolates. It's been a year since my grandmother died, and I thought about this recently. It'll be the same for us one day. It's the most nauseating thing I've ever experienced. 8 years later, and my world collapses if I think about it too much. You doing all right, Op? Wanna talk? I was greatly insulted that the world kept going when my dad died. I thought it was the height of rudeness. My world had come to an end, so why didn't the whole world? I lost my dad in 2013 to cancer and my mom in 2021 to cancer. Neither made it past 55. Shit sucks, but it does get more manageable. After a while you realize that it's not weird at all, it's just the way of things. I lost my dad at 21, a couple of good friends in my late 20s, and the older you get the more funerals you wind up going to, aunts and uncles, cousins, co-workers, and friends. Eventually it will be me, probably sooner than later at that, and the world will keep going. Sorry for your loss. The world will continue going long after the last human is gone. Life isn't contingent on the existence of humans. I was just talking to my husband about this last night, and the realization is it'll happen when you die too. You can see it in people's yards, the care and upkeep they invested, which is now overgrown with weeds and vegetation, colorful decorations toppled over and beginning to rust. I see places like that, and I wonder about the people who used to piddle around in their square-foot section of the world. A dear friend died last month, and my brother died in December, and even though I grieve the loss deeply, their deaths don't shock me. What shocks me is the people who live like tomorrow is promised us. It is really hard, especially the closer you are. Sometimes, after some time, it gets easier, but it's been over a decade since losing my mother, and I miss her more now than ever. So many life events she missed out on and would love to have been there for. The world is cruel because it doesn't care. Your life is wrecked, and after a month or two even your friends and family forget about your pain. You learn to live with it. I thought the world would at least pause, but damn no. Body is in the ground, back to work and regular life. WTF. Nothing weird about it, but it definitely changes your worldview permanently. Rip Dad. It's like the world slowly grows dark, and you're left wandering around in it. It's the weirdest part of it to me. My world has been destroyed and no one else is affected, knows or cares. The world just keeps right on going. It's super weird. Not really. We're just one of billions of Homo sapiens inhabiting this planet. Yes, it is. I'm sorry this happened to you. It is weird at the time. I remember that feeling all too well. We are but players on a stage. Nope, just cause your existence sucks or you're falling apart doesn't mean anything to the world. Sometimes it doesn't even mean anything to anyone else but you, or that's what I've learned. Good luck on dealing with your loss. It will get a bit less painful with time. I remember my partner dying years ago on a Saturday. The day after, one of the cops told me the best thing is to go to work Monday and just continue life as normal. This is an inevitability that hangs over me every single day. It's all but paralyzing. When they're gone, I'm gone. Some people's worlds stop when somebody close to them dies. When my husband died and I went out for the first time to run errands, groceries, pay bills, what have you, it struck me how everything was exactly the same, but at the same time so incredibly different. It was honestly the most surreal thing I've ever experienced. Now that it's been a few years and things have changed in my neighborhood, I still live in the same place we lived in together. It hits me all the time how odd it is that he'll never see those changes. I was 22 when my dad died. I had a job at an auto parts warehouse. I was given 2 days off for the funeral. A week later, when I would still wake up and cry all day and barely get out of bed, Al called in. They told me if I didn't come in, don't bother coming in ever again. I still think about this all the time. Other than the 2 days I got off for the funeral, I only missed one other scheduled day. Absolutely no compassion. I mean, what do you expect? You can't close the city for 2 weeks if one person dies. I'm so sorry for your loss. I got the call that my mom died while I was at work in retail. As soon as I hung up, I had a customer who needed something that only I could handle. After I came back from leave, with my emotions absolutely wrecked, one of my employees who knew what I just went through reported me to HR for being curt with her. So on top of losing my mother, I now had to defend my job before I could really grieve. It's amazing how little the world cares sometimes. My dad just passed a little over a week ago, and I can't understand how the world is still spinning. I jumped immediately into business mode to make sure all affairs are sorted and my mom has everything she needs to soothe her anxiety, keep the house, etc. Now I'm back to work as a boss and a leader, but I feel like a lost kid on the inside. It's bizarre. My dad died in 2009 when I was 16. Motorbike accident. 14 years have passed. 14 WTF. I'm 30 now. WTF. Firstly, you okay homie? If you need to talk or vent, just shoot me a message man. Losing people sucks hard, and sharing your highs and lows with others helps a ton. Yeah, it sucks. We're all just one amongst trillions of blips in the never-ending march of human history, unless the meteor wipes us all out. The coffee isn't even bitter. The world will just keep going even when we, ourselves, die. Can't happen if you have no one close to you. The world, maybe, my world stopped. I might have kept functioning, but everything was different from that day on. My world still stops every now and then and is consistently running unevenly since then. Edit. In fact, you're right. Yes, it is. It's a slap in my face every morning. Try being a first responder. It's bizarre. Someone at my work literally had cardiac arrest right before the majority of us got in, and while they are still alive, their family may have to make a tough decision soon. Yet business went on, a couple took their responsibilities, and my mind still struggles with how easy we are to replace and quickly it all happens. Honestly, it's never been that part that fucked with me. It's more so that they're just gone. All the things we did, the times we'd see each other in passing, just gone. I know that intellectually, but feeling it is completely different and takes a long time to stop feeling. The world kept going, but it's taking me forever to do the same. It's been months since I lost my mother and my mental state has barely improved. No, I'm blessed and cursed to not have close family. Parents are on drugs and I live on my own. Everyone being so close to family is strange to me sometimes. It was kinda weird, yes, but my personal loss is just that, my personal loss. To the world as a whole, what happens to you individually is practically negligible. My mom is dying right now and it feels like the biggest thing in the world, but I still have to clean and put the garbage out. I don't know anymore. Oh sweetheart, yes. Yes, it is so weird that the world goes on spinning and our bodies go on breathing when theirs cannot. I know this place. I've been there too. Holding you so gently in it. Wife passed away in August. I cry daily, but yes, The world still spins. Life does go on, as painfully as it does.